time for the 25th annual Rhino Charge, the world's most extreme off-road 4x4 challenge, where teams combat some of Africa's toughest and least explored terrain to cover the shortest distance and win.
Watch out!
Individual teams are here to meet this daunting challenge. Who will make it this year? There'll be unexpected problems each step of the day.
Sorry to bother you, mate. Let it go! Oh!
And each team will resolve them in their own unique way.
There's nothing like the Rhino Charge.
Tell me why.
They'd put us in jail in America for trying to do something like this.
It's been one hell of a ride.
Teams have arrived at the Oldonyo Nyoki location in the Great Rift Valley just south of Nairobi, where everyone will camp for the next 3 days. The Rhino Charge is one of Kenya's most important fundraising events. Each team must raise a significant amount of money for Rhino Arc in order to compete. For the last 25 years, Rhino Arc has funded the conservation of Kenya's mountain range ecosystems. With the 400-kilometer fence around the Aberdares ecosystem complete, Rhino Arc and its partners are now fencing Mount Kenya and Mount Eburu in the Mau Forest Escarpment. Every year, the Rhino Charge event raises critical funds to secure Kenya's forests and water catchments for future generations. Raising funds for forest conservation is only the first challenge for competitors. They must also prepare their cars. Each team has its own way of getting ready.
This vehicle is actually pretty much assembled from scrapyard, second-hand parts. I've been doing this event for 18 years now, so my memory is not as good as it used to be. So you'll notice that one thing about this car is that I write things on the car. Everything on the car is actually labelled with a piece of masking tape with something written on it, so that if anything comes adrift during the Rhino Charge, I can very quickly find it. So just to help my memory, I've got this car full of sticky tape.
Across town, car 57 is in the shop.
I mean, we all have jobs and everyone has their own thing, so it has to be a weekend process.
We spend probably 6 to 8 months working on the car. We start immediately after the last charge, try and undo all the damage we've done to the car before, try and see what went wrong in the charge, and try and change that.
Well, we work on it with a budget because we've got other stuff going on, and
this year one of the things we want to try and do is give ourselves a bit more articulation. Last year we got stuck on some rocks, so
we're getting a longer prop.
We're putting in a longer prop, and hopefully
so we get a better drop with the rear tires, and let's see if we can attempt slightly harder places.
Yeah.
For many, the Rhino Charge is a year-round occupation and financial commitment. Each team is motivated by their own reasons.
As Kenyans, we do this because of the wildlife. We have to take care of the rhinos, we have to take care of the elephants.
We do it for fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How do you spell fun?
To get together with a load of mates, have a lot of fun.
Competition, motorsport, fun in the bush, but primarily for us, I think, the building of a car.
And we love fishing, we love the mountains, we love the forest, we love the peace of the wildlife, and that's where our heart lies. Is the end of the day is to actually protecting that.
It's now time for the driver's briefing with David Lowe, the clerk of the course.
Remember, at the end of the day, we're here to raise money for Rhino Arc and what Rhino Arc does, okay? This is a fun event, okay? This is not a Formula One event. This is a fun event for a good cause. I want you guys to go out there, have a great time, be safe, be careful, and look after each other, okay? So good luck, guys. Enjoy tomorrow, and you can get your maps from Belinda.
With maps in hand, teams go back to their own campsites. Every team has their way of devising a winning strategy. Competitors are tense with suspense as chargers decipher a route that must hit the 13 different checkpoints within 10 hours. The team to do it in the shortest distance wins. As the night wears on, everyone is on pins and needles waiting for dawn.
4500.
Rhino Ark is now working in 3 of Kenya's main water catchment areas. While maintaining and managing the Aberdare fence, Rhino Ark and its partners are also making headway on the Mount Kenya and Mount Eburu fence building. Fence construction of the Mount Eburu Forest Reserve began in March 2013. The 8,700-hectare reserve is an important area of Kenyan biodiversity and was largely unmapped and unexplored until recently. As part of the Greater Mau Forest Complex, the area has faced significant deforestation owing to illegal logging, charcoal burning and overgrazing.
This is the revised map that we talked about. You remember you gave the previous map with some GPS.
One of the first steps to secure the area has been to map the forest. Rhino Ark is providing GPS tools, technical and logistical support to the Kenya Forest Service Mount Eburu team. They've made great progress over the last year. The foresters are now able to identify degraded areas and have begun replanting indigenous seedlings in these zones. Every month, the Fence Technical Committee surveys the new fence line to monitor its progress.
It is more of a neat post compared with the wooden post, and it's easier to handle. We decided to use more plastics than the wooden post. As you can see ahead of you, mostly the wooden posts are on strain assemblies. Plastics are good in that one thing, we are conserving the forest. Wood comes from trees. We wouldn't like to continue exploiting trees, and we have a lot of plastic waste in our environment. So it's better to use plastics. In the process, it is building the fence and also cleaning the environment. At the same time, the plastics can last longer than wood.
Currently, the plastic posts are made at the Finley's workshop in nearby Naivasha town, where plastic waste from flower farms is ingeniously recycled into fence posts.
We get the plastic buckets there and the polythene, and we shred them, and then we mix them into ratios, and then we put them onto extruder and we heat them, and then they form this post which you see here.
When it's finished, the 50-kilometer fence will completely encircle the Mount Eburu Forest Reserve. Charge day has arrived, and teams wait at lineup to be taken to their starting checkpoints. It's a beautiful day, and once at their starting positions, everyone can have a good look around to try and determine the surprises that lie ahead.
This has to be one of the best events that's been created in the world. And it's so unpredictable because you have no idea what you're going to come across in most of the terrain. And now they're making the charge smaller and smaller, and as it gets smaller, it gets more technical, which means that your teamwork and your car has to be a level up from what it used to be.
It's exactly 7:30, and chargers are on their way. They have 10 hours. Each car has decided on its own route that must hit all 13 checkpoints before returning to their starting positions at the end of the day. It's not long before this mild-looking terrain begins to reveal what lies hidden under the long grass.
bomb to the tough area, we got a proper area.
I can't climb. The boulders are too big.
Our only option is to winch our way all the way up from here.
Why?
Unfortunately, we keep getting stuck on the rocks. They keep beaching us, and we can't go any further.
Car 7 isn't moving anywhere yet. Just over the hill, past winning car number 5 is mowing its own path through the grass and rocks. This custom-built monster machine has no problem getting anywhere.
Tell us, are you?
Yes.
Are you well?
I'm very well.
What's this?
It's still early, but so far car 5 is making good time. This year's course is a combination of steep hills and flat plains, and wedged between the two is the gauntlet. The gauntlet is designed to test teams and cars to the maximum. It's also the place where spectators flock to see the action.
We've had cars coming from 3 different sides, basically, and they're obviously all trying to do the gauntlet all at once. And most of them have come here first.
Woo! So far so good. That's a bummer of a hill, eh? It's a bummer of a hill.
Cars are appearing out of nowhere, eating up the hills. Runners try to keep up.
I can't speak. How you doing? Oh, yeah, very. But not so bad. Doing okay.
This year's gauntlet is a bit like a beehive. Everyone crossing each other's paths as they attempt the shortest line from different directions.
A little harder than expected.
Video and photographs can never show exactly how steep, how hot, or how uncomfortable it is midday rhino charge under the African sun. By now, chargers are starting to feel the pain, and in some cases the heavy work has only just begun.
Guys, watch out. Good teamwork, guys. That was looking a bit touch and go for a second. It's a machine, this thing. It just goes off anything. We never have to winch. It always just drives it. I didn't think we'd make it up there because it was really loose at the top. And, you know, the way we joined it from the side, I thought we'd just lose traction, but we managed to get those sand ladders in just the right spot.
The Rhino Charge is an amazing competition, but the end result of this crazy game is all about conservation. The Safaricom M-Pesa Foundation has sponsored the building of the Mount Eburu fence, and now they're also giving another type of helping hand. In August, a team from M-Pesa arrived to get their hands dirty.
And this was made possible thanks to the incredible support that we have received from M-Pesa Foundation. Once again, many thanks.
Along with the help of Kenya's defense forces, the group set out to put up 2 kilometers of fence line, a task that requires a great deal of teamwork.
So we are doing the cutting, others are doing the holes and the posts. I'm so happy to be here because I hope to make a difference at the end of the day, at least so that we can conserve our environment.
Well, we're here today to get some hands-on experience as to what it's like to build a fence, because it may sound easy when you say, yeah, we'll build a 50-kilometre fence around Maui Buru, but there are certain things that you don't think about, like clearing the bush.
The efforts of the M-Pesa workers and the Kenya Defence Forces shows the commitment of Kenya's people to conserve their environment. While the Mount Eburu fence goes up, so does the Mount Kenya fence. Fences are important tools for conservation, but they're only one part of forest management. Rhino Ark has developed and is supporting an aerial surveillance program for Mount Kenya. Every 3 months, a team from Rhino Ark, the Kenya Wildlife Service and Kenya Forest Service flies over the Mount Kenya and Aberdares Forest to monitor these ecosystems.
It's a very good initiative because from the air you see a lot. It's not like walking on the ground. Walking on the ground you can concentrate in like let's say in one day in like 5 square kilometers. While from the air you can actually do an air or survey around the whole forest in 2 hours or 3 hours. You are done.
The aerial surveys make work easier for ground patrol teams by giving them coordinates for hotspots that can be attended to immediately. The team looks for forest destruction, poaching activities, and illegal farming. It's an economical approach because large parts of the entire ecosystem of about 3,000 square kilometers can be covered in a short time. The survey is done by following a GPS grid that dissects the forest map and allows the team to find coordinates for new hotspots and check on the old ones. Currently, 43 kilometers of the Mount Kenya fence line has been completed. Back at the charge, it's afternoon now, and at the Pies to Go checkpoint, some chargers are looking a bit worse for wear.
What happened to you? I've been on the Rhino truck. Well, we slept at the gauntlet and we went straight copy 4 and 3.
While cars and competitors are showing wear and tear from the gauntlet, out on the plains the going isn't much easier.
Straight over that bush which got my finger.